Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my virtual interactive live. And my virtual interactive live is going to be overcoming your fears. I'm Aunt Cece's Kitchen. Come on in, guys. All are welcome. Vern Jump Closet, welcome, welcome. How are you, Vern? How are you? Thank you. I'm waiting for my speaker to arrive. How is your morning going? How's your morning going, Burns? I'm waiting for the speaker. I guess she's getting all ready. She'll be here shortly. Let me check on her and see what's going on. Okay, he said, I'm hanging in there. My employment was just eliminated. Please say a prayer for me. We will say a prayer for you, Vern's Jump Closet. That is happening everywhere. They're firing people left, right, and center. I don't know why. But we just got to hold on to the Almighty God and thank God for life. Once there's life and there's hope, everything else will fall into place. Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning. Hello. Hello, everyone. Good morning, Miss Griffith. It's so good to see you all.
Good to see
Um,
you too.
yes, yes.
We have one person here, Vern's Junk Closet. She been here for some time. Vern's Junk Closet. Yes, yes, I believe in God. Is my provider. Yeah, and she said, say a prayer for her. She had just been eliminated from her job.
Okay, okay. Uh, yes, God is your provider.
Hmm.
He's the one that gave you the job in the first place.
Hmm.
And just because they terminated your job, your position, does not mean it's the end of the world, okay? The same God that got you that job in the first place is the same God that's going to either get you the next job or offer you the next opportunity where He's going to show you once again that He is your provider. Yes, at the job, you earn money, you earn a salary, and you are able to provide for yourself and your family. But the Lord Jesus is the giver of all good things, and He
Amen.
is our provider. So just like He took care of you and provided you with that job, He's not going to stop taking care of you. Okay, He got you. But
He
yes,
got your
we
back.
will go ahead and lift up a prayer, um, because it's not just you, it's a lot of us. Just to give you a little testimony, myself, um, about I was out of work. Um, Myself, I got laid off from my job 2017. I was directing for a senior center, and I was there 5 years. And all of a sudden, they could no longer their budget got cut, and they couldn't no longer um, pay me. So they let me go. It wasn't anything that I did wrong. Um, it wasn't that they were unsatisfied with my work. It was just, budget cut. And so their budget got cut, so then they cut me. And I took it personal. I was upset because I was there so long, and I'm like, you know, how could y'all do this? Um, Long story short, 2017 now, and right after I got terminated from the job, the Lord told me, "You're going to work for yourself. You're not going to work for anyone else anymore. The only boss you're going to have is me, God." So I'm like, yeah, okay, Lord, I had a life coaching practice a few years ago, and it was doing really well, but then I got the job working with seniors and everything. And so I kind of, focused on that and put my life coaching practice to the side, and so that's what I was doing. And so when the Lord said, you're going to work for me, you're not going to work for anyone else, I was like, okay, but Lord, I need money to start a business. At least that's the way I thought at the moment. I said, I need money, so you gotta provide for me so that I can restart that business or start a new business. But I'm gonna need capital just to start the business. The Lord was like, I got you. Now that was 2017, right after I got laid off. I'm literally talking 2 days after I got laid off. The Lord told me that. And so 2017, I got unemployment and, but it wasn't enough. I started getting, you know, um, bills and stuff, so I had to, pay and pay late fees because I was paying bills late and everything because of the loss of income. But I was making it through and, just paying and everything. 2018 went by. Um, I I sent out my resume because I'm thinking, maybe I need to help God. I'm gonna send out my resume, get a job, work it for a little bit so I can get the capital up so I can start my business, and then, I'll start working in my business. So I'm gonna do that. I sent out 150 resumes. Okay, um, places where I should have been able to get the job, no problem, overqualified, all of that. I got back one response, okay? And that one response, they called me in for an interview. I went in for 3 interviews. They showed me my desk. They showed me the people I'm going to be working with. They did everything. I signed paperwork. They did everything except give me a start date. So they said, oh, well, we need to check your background, check your fingerprints, and then that should take about 2 weeks, and then we'll let you know when your start date is. So I'm like, okay, this was January 2018. I went, the 2 weeks came and gone, didn't hear nothing. About I let a week go by. Now it's 3 weeks, and I called and I'm like, when I'm tight, when am I gonna start? This, that, and the other. The manager that was there, that was interviewing me and everything, that person was no longer there. So, but I didn't know that. So I'm like, can I speak to Mike? He interviewed me, and stuff. Is Mike there? And they kept saying, no, Mike is not here. No, Mike is not here. Finally, they told me, oh, Mike transferred. He's at another location. I said, well, he told me that, I was to fill the position, of manager there. And so, I'm waiting for a start date. They said, oh, start date? That position was filled. We don't know anything about what you're talking about. And I'm standing there like, what, really? Okay. And so they were like, well, Mike is not here. The position is filled, and we don't have anything that says that you were supposed to be working here. So sorry. And they hung up the phone, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, what happened? And the Lord said to me again, I told you, you're not going to be working for anyone else. You're going to work for me, and you're going to work on your own. That was 2018, so I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm going to just wait till you provide me the means to start this business. 2018 went by, 2019 went by, like I did, different little short-term jobs. Temped, work for a temp agency and everything like that. And still nothing. 2019 goes by. Here we are, 2020. At the beginning of this year, I find out my sister had ovarian cancer. So then I said, okay, at least I'm available to help out with that. So I helped out with that. And then we had the COVID and shutdown and everything. And smack in the middle of the shutdown, the Lord said to me, that mental health practice started now, started right now. People are going through with this pandemic, and there's a lot of people out there that need your services because they are, really, really suffering with their mental health. And so I'm like, now, Lord? Now? The Lord was like, yeah, right now, right now. I'm like, but we're all shut down. We're shut down. We're sheltering in place. He's like, right now. Do it online. Do it online right now. Right now. I'm talking now, 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 now. And he was on me so hard. So I was like, okay, let me put up a Facebook page, and let me see how I can get a website. Let me make some flyers and put them out in the neighborhood. Let me do that. And I did that. I made the flyers right from home, on my home computer and everything. I put up my Facebook page, and my son, he knows how to do websites, so he was like, "Ma, let's get this website up. Come on." And he showed me how to do that. So I had a website and everything, and I started getting calls. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and the clients, the people that I would counsel over the years, I did it on the side or what have you. Those people, they called, and then they were referring me to their friends. And so I'm like, oh, but like I'm used to doing everything, face to face. You come to my office, what have you. I never did anything like that online. And I was doing it online, and over the phone. And all of a sudden, uh, that was May of this year. The Lord was like, I need your business to be up and running. I put up my Facebook page and my website April, and May I was up fully functional with clients and everything. And I was doing it. I'm like, okay, and then I got a call to start appearing on this channel. And Miss Griffith, she called me up and was talking to me, and I told her, look, I never did anything like this on 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 YouTube or any social media platform. I mean, before all of this, I had my personal Facebook page, and to be honest with you, I would go on the Facebook page, to look at pictures. I might respond every once in a while to somebody that, wrote me. I basically would, just go on there every once in a while, maybe about once a week, maybe, but that was my social media, and that was the extent of my interaction, but when I got asked to come on to the show and everything, Miss Griffith was really, really patient with me. She was like, you get on and you talk, you present your material and you talk. The audience is there. They'll let you know if, if you need to get off or whatever, and then I said, okay, well, because I'm used to it, interacting with people where I can see your face and, you know, touch you if I have to when I'm counseling or what have you. I said, well, um, can we do it interactive? Because I want to be able to know that somebody's out there and they're getting whatever it is that I'm saying, and I want to hear from them. I'm used to that interaction, and she said, yeah, let's do it. Okay, come on the show. And I I never did anything like that before. I come on the show and I'm scared to death because it's live. That's one thing Miss Griffith, she gives it to you live, straight. She no chaser. Whatever you say, whatever you do, that's it. It's recorded, and that's what she's gonna give you. So right there in the moment, you got to be on it. And so I'm there, and I'm talking, but I'm scared to death. I am, oh, and I'm talking, but I'm nervous and I don't know if people are hearing me. And, I'm going through what I call the herky jerkies. I wasn't, I didn't feel that I was flowing and speaking, with a flow. I'm there and I'm I'm petrified actually, real fearful. And I'm like, I'm thinking about every word that I'm about to say. And so I'm hesitating and, trying to breathe and talk at the same time. And, I was really just like going through it on the inside. Um, and, and people are, they're interacting, they're hitting the chat. And I'm like, oh my God, they're really out there. They're really listening to what I'm saying. I can't stop now. You know, I was having trouble with the internet, and the screen kept blinking off and coming back on and things of that nature, and that made me even more fearful, even more nervous. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope I'm doing this right. Oh my gosh, and all of that's going through my head, but as that's going through my head, I knew I had to keep talking, keep talking. So I'm talking and trying to breathe, so that I won't let my panic. I call it the herky jerkies. I didn't want the audience and Miss Griffith to see all of that, but that's what was going on. I mean, I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, on the inside. But I just tried to keep a straight face, and I just kept on breathing really deeply and talking very slowly. Breathing deeply, talking very slow. And so I was able to get through that first show. I remember clearly it was on a Thursday, and I spoke about mental health and the importance of taking care of your mental health. And once the show was over, I was like, oh, okay, it's over. I hope that it came out decent. I hope that Miss Griffith has enough footage where it looked like something that she meant to put up there. So I was worried, about did I do it right? Was the audience, did they get it? And Miss Griffith said to me, she said, "Don't worry, the audience will let you know. The audience will let you know." And the audience was letting me know, but I was so caught up in my fear that I didn't realize the people are hitting the chat. They are asking questions. They are hearing me. I don't know. I wasn't focusing on that because I was just trying to focus on, getting the presentation out and finishing so I can go somewhere and pass out. That's where my mind was. you know. But um, and see, Miss Griffith is laughing because she knows the backstory. She knows all of the backstory, you know. And she told me, she gave me one good piece of advice. She said, you know, don't worry. Just pretend that as you're speaking, even though you're speaking to a whole audience, you know, from all over the world and all of that, don't think about that. Pretend like you're speaking to your good friend on the other, but you can't see them. They're on the other side of the camera. That's all. You know, like when you're on the phone, you're talking. You know, you're talking to your friend. They're on the other side of the phone. You can't see them, but you know they're there because you can hear them. You know, she's like, it's the same thing. You know, you can't see them, but you know that they're there because you know they're gonna interact. So I just kept thinking about that, kept telling myself, it's my girlfriend. She's on the other side. I just can't see her, but she's there. She's listening to me, you know. And that's how I got through. Um, and then once I was finished, you know, I just knew that Miss Griffith wasn't going to invite me back. I just knew that uh, the audience would have been like, "Oh no, thumbs down," you know, don't bring her back ever. You know, I just knew that, you know, that's what my mind was telling me. And um, one of the audience members was Miss Chang, and she was interacting, you know, hitting the chat, and right after I finished broadcasting, she called and left a message on my phone. I was so busy trying to just calm down and, you know, uh, pull myself together after the show that I didn't even realize that the phone had rang. I didn't even know or care. I was just busy trying to get back to calm and get back to myself, you know. Uh, get over the herky jerkies, you know. And she had called and she had left a message just telling me, you did a great job. I really liked what you said, and it was really, really helpful to me. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, well, she left that on the answer machine, but I didn't know because I didn't even know that the phone had rang. You know, I saw that message uh, later in the day. But Miss Griffith called me and she goes, uh, you know, when can you come back? And I'm like, what? Come back? Like, really? You know? And she said, yeah, when can you come back? The audience, they enjoyed it and they want you to come back on the show. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't know where I was, but, you know, surely the audience did they really want me to come back? Did they really want me? But I'm like, but Miss Griffith wouldn't have called me if that weren't true. So somebody got it wrong here. It was me. I got it wrong. I was operating and thinking out of my fear, the herky jerkies. Um, I was thinking, oh my gosh, because I never did this before, that moment I was thinking that, oh well, I I wouldn't be able to do it, at least do it properly, you know. But I was still grateful to Miss Griffith for at least giving me a chance and allowing me to go through all of that. Um, and so, because for some reason she had faith in me, more faith than I had in myself about that, you know, I was like, well, let me at least try my best, you know. At least, you know, let me at least try because she asked me, she invited me to come on the show. Let me at least try. Um, and even though I was nervous and, you know, going through and doing my deep breathing, and all of that, I still was able to make it through the show. I didn't let my fears and my nervousness about not having ever did this before, I didn't let that stop me. It did slow me down a little bit, but I didn't, not do it. And I was grateful that I did, because afterwards, when she called me back and she said, "Oh, well, when can you come back on the show?" I'm like, "Really? You want me to come back? Seriously?" And she was like, "Yeah, you did a great job." And then when I started sharing with her how, I was going through it as I was talking, she was like, "Really? It didn't look like that. It didn't look like that at all." And then she said, "Go look at the video. Go look at the video, because everything that you said was going on, I didn't see it, and the audience did not see that." And I went back and looked at the video, and sure enough, I knew what was going on the inside of me and everything, but it didn't show. God had helped me, he covered all of the herky jerkies and everything. I don't know. He did all of that, and it actually looked pretty good. And so I said, "Okay, I'll come back on the show. I'll come back." And she said, "Oh, what about doing a series?" And I'm sitting there thinking, "Oh my gosh, Miss Griffith, she doesn't know me very well. I mean, I barely got through that one show, okay? And I was going to come back for one more show. Here she is. She's already past that. She's like, "Let's talk about a series. Come on, you can come on, and keep coming on. What?" And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if I could survive, a series. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but, um, as I was about to tell her, no to a series, but yes to coming on one more time, maybe a few months down the road, just as I was about to tell her that, I heard the Lord say to me, "No, tell her you're going to be on Sunday. And yes, tell her that you will do the series." And he gave me the name of the series and everything right then and there. So I told her, I was about to tell her no, and then I said, Sunday, can I come on Sunday? I can do a series. It's called The Mind of Christ. And she was like, "Yeah, that's great. That's great. What time?" And, I was able to tell her the time and everything. And then when I hung up the phone, I was like, "What just happened? Really? Really?" Not only am I coming on the show again, but I'm going to be doing a series. Oh my goodness. And, but, she continued to talk with me, and she was like, "Well, all of that you were going through, we didn't see it. So to us, it didn't even exist. It existed in your mind, but we didn't see it. So we don't know anything about all that." So she said to me, she had called me back on Friday, and she's like, "Okay, I need the topic that you're going to talk about. I'm going to do the flyer and post it. In the meantime, you work out your herky jerkies, work them all out, do whatever you got to do, because Sunday you're going to be on all over again. And just do what I told you. Pretend that you're talking to a good friend that's listening. And I've been doing that ever since. I believe it was either the end of July. The end of June or beginning of July that we had started. I believe it was that first. First Thursday, I think it was in July or something like that. Now it's a memory. But ever since then, I've been doing it, and no more herky jerkies, no more that Sunday. I wasn't even nervous. I wasn't even nervous. I just that when the thoughts would go through my mind, the fearful thoughts. Oh, you're not doing this right. Oh, they could see your nervousness. Oh, you don't know what you're doing. When those thoughts were going through my head, even as I was speaking, I would, I would think other thoughts. I would answer those thoughts. I am on the show. I am speaking. And no, I'm not nervous. I can do this. Yes, I can. I can do this. And I just kept saying that over and over again, to myself as I was speaking, and remembering to do my deep breaths, because like when I get nervous, I feel the tightness in my chest, and I start breathing real short, almost like a panting, like that, So, what I do to move through that is I'll take a deep breath, in and out, so that um, I don't, start breathing short, and then I can't talk because I can't breathe. I'm allowing the fear to win and take over me, when I do that. So I don't do that. I answer those thoughts in my head with the opposite, or with something that I know is true. Because a lot of times we have thoughts in our head, you know, um, sometimes it's voices that tell you certain things, while you're doing something, telling you, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. I really did not know what I was doing when that first show, because I never did it before. But I knew the material that I wanted to present. I knew that I wanted to share. And so that's what I did. Even though I wasn't sure how to do it or if I was doing it right, I still did it. I still did it. And it was able to move through the fear and get it done. And so that was a few months ago now, and I'm still here, still doing it. In fact, now it's fun to me. I enjoy it. I enjoy sharing and interacting with you all. You all, as an audience, have been so supportive and encouraging. Um, I thank Ms. Chang for giving me that first word of encouragement, and even Ms. Griffith, for telling me, "Oh, you could do it. Yeah, you did fine. What, you know?" But even having the confidence in me, she believed in me and that I could do it way before I thought I could do it. Okay, she was real, What? Oh, you're a little nervous, the herky jerkies? Okay. You know, don't worry about that. Don't focus on that. Just keep talking, It's your friend on the other line. That's all it is. And I'm right there. I'm right there next to you. So, you're not by yourself. And she was so calm about it. The whole thing, she was calm. And her being calm and talking to me calm, even as she was encouraging me. Oh, don't think about that. Okay, you're a little nervous. Okay, the herky jerkies. All right, just don't worry. Don't think on that. And she talked to me calmly, and because she was calm, I said to myself, okay, let me calm down. Maybe it's not the end of the world, like my mind is telling me. Maybe I really can do this, because if Miss Griffith tells me that I can do it, maybe I really can. So let me try. And it was her encouragement, and just her whole way of how she did it, to encouraged me to keep going, keep going. Yeah, yeah, all right. See, look, the audience is responding. See, look, look, look at the video, and I was doing that. It just got better and better and better, and I'm here today, and so today we're talking about overcoming your fear, overcoming your fear. Um, Sometimes we get in situations, as I just shared, where uh, we become so fearful of trying that we don't even try. We become so fearful, nervous. Uh, we get anxious about doing something that we won't do it. We'll stop, shut down. Um, and when we do that, uh, we we no longer feel fear. We're no longer feeling fearful because we stopped whatever the activity was that was causing us fear. Okay, but then after we stop feeling the fear, then we get frustrated because now, oh man, I had the opportunity to uh, do that for the first time, but because I got scared, I didn't do it. So now I don't know. Maybe I could have did it, and I could have did it well, or maybe I can't do it. So you don't know which one it is. You're not sure. Um, Someone is knocking at my door. Uh, I'm sorry. 1 second. Must be the UPS guy. Hold on. Hello. Excuse me. Uh, the window is facing the front of the building. I'm in the middle of I'm working. But I'm on the sea line. I'm on the sea line. And we face the front of well, yeah, we face the front of the building. Um, I'm sorry. I'm at work. Hello. Okay, sorry. Uh, I don't know. That was the police at my door. They're telling me I'm not in trouble, but they want to come in my apartment and look out my window. Anyway, um, I don't know what that's about, but I didn't let them come in here. Anyway, I'm sorry. But as I was saying, thank you for your patience and everything. Um, as I was saying that I was able to. Um, I didn't allow the fear to stop me from trying. And a lot of times when we are faced with new situations or we are in a situation that may cause us to become nervous or fearful or uncomfortable even, we very often stop. Uh, we stop the activity, or we won't complete it, or we run away from the situation instead of um, dealing with it and facing it head on. And when we do that, we come away with frustration, confusion, because now we don't know how that situation would have turned out had we gone through, and completed whatever it was to the end, had we saw it through to the end. And so we're left with that, that wonder. Oh, I wonder how that would have turned out had I stuck it out. I wondered, what would have happened. So fear causes us to miss out on different things in life. Fear can cripple you. Like you can get so fearful, so nervous, so anxious that you just, you freeze. You don't even want to take another step. You don't want to say another word. You just freeze. So, it's fear is not our friend. Okay, fear is not our friend. But how do we get to the point where we become so fearful that we freeze up or run away from the situation? How do we get to that point? What happens to us that would cause us to do that? Well, a lot of our fears and phobias, they come from experiences that we had early in life. For example, when we were a small child, when you're a child, you have to learn fear. Your parents have to teach you. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. That can hurt you. They have to teach you that, certain things can harm you. You're not born fearing. We're not born fearing. A little baby, an infant, does not know fear. Something has to happen. You have to have experience, an unpleasant experience, and from that unpleasant experience, you learn to fear that situation or any situation like it. Okay. But if you've never been in that situation before, and you haven't had any previous experience with a situation similar to that, you won't really know to fear, because you don't have anything to relate that situation to, but as children, when our parents teach us, that's dangerous. Don't touch the heater. Don't do this. Don't do that. They're teaching us to stay away from danger and things that can harm us, but they're also teaching us to fear. And the thing about fear is you fear, through fear you make decisions to avoid a dangerous situation, remove yourself from a dangerous situation or a harmful situation or a hurtful situation. That's the whole point of fear, is to get your mind and your body, to a point where you can escape, leave, come out of a situation that might be harmful, detrimental to you. Okay, that's the purpose of fear. And our parents, and even life, we go through situations where, it's an unpleasant experience, and we make the decision that we are not going to allow ourselves to go through that again. So we began to fear. We decide we're not going to go through that again, and we're not going to go through anything that's like that again. So even if we, are in a situation that's similar, or something about that situation reminds us of the fearful situation that we went through, we shut down. We back out of the way. We don't proceed. We see it and we retreat. That's fear. That's where we get fear from. Um, Fear is a learned response. Okay, and being that it's a learned response, depending on how our parents taught us to taught us to react, taught us to remove ourselves from a hurtful situation or a dangerous situation, we develop these different reactions that we do over and over again whenever we realize that we're in or we perceive that we're in a possibly dangerous situation or possibly hurtful situation or an uncomfortable situation. And so we develop a response to those situations so that we do the same thing every time we find ourselves in an uncomfortable situation or a situation where we think that the proper response is to be fearful, okay, so that we can avoid being in that situation. So fear is a learned response, and our parents teaching us um, to have a response, to have a fearful response. They taught us that for our protection. You know, uh, don't touch the heater. It's hot, and you will get burned. You'll get hurt. You know, um, when I was a small child, I didn't even know what a heater was. I just know it was over, in the corner in my room, and sometimes it would uh, make noise, and uh, it was warm when I went over there. It was nice and warm, and I wanted to touch it. I wanted to touch it, because I wanted to see what makes it um, make the room feel warm or something like that. As a child, I didn't realize that, I didn't even know what hot was, so I'm thinking, if I touch it, you know, it'll feel warm like the warmth that I'm feeling, against my body coming from the heater. I didn't know what hot was. So, I would want to touch it. And every time I would go near that heater, and my parents would say, "No, Tice, don't touch that. Don't touch that. You'll get burned. Hot. Hot." I don't know what hot is. And I'll get burned. Okay, I've never been burned before, so I don't even know what that is. Only thing I know is every time I stick my hand out towards that heater, my parent would say, "Don't touch it. Hot." And I would want to touch it anyway. And then one day, my parent, my dad was like, he saw me, I was fascinated by the heater and I wanted to touch it. And he was like, you really want to touch that? You really want to touch it? I was a small child. And I'm like, what's wrong with touching it? I didn't. And this was, I might have been talking. I might have been old enough to talk. Maybe about 3, 4 years old. And he's like, you really want to touch that? Well, since you want to touch it, he took my hand and he let me touch it, but not very long. He like took my hand and put it on the heater. Hot! like that, and he snatched my hand back really, really quickly. So my hand was on the heater long enough to feel the heat, and that it could hurt, but he snatched my hand back quick enough so that I didn't get burned, and I felt the heat, but I didn't, it didn't hurt, but I felt it long enough to understand, you know what, if I keep my hand on it, yeah, that's going to hurt. And so he taught me, he put my hand on the heater and then snatched it back real quick and said, hot, see, hot. And as he's saying hot, he's snatching my hand back. And he said, it'll hurt you. It'll hurt you. Hot. No touch. No touch. Hot. And that's how I learned hot. But I knew that the heater was hot. And if I touch it, I got to hurry up and bring my hand back. So I understood hot to mean this, not that the heater was hot. So I came away with an understanding of hot, but I thought hot meant this also. So whenever I, if I went in the kitchen, and the stove was on, or I look at the knobs of the stove and I want to touch it, my dad would say hot, and I would snatch my hand back. Now the knob of the stove wasn't hot. It wasn't hot. If I touched it, it wasn't hot. But because I didn't understand that hot was for the heat, soon as he said hot, I understood hot means to snatch your hand back so that you don't get hurt. I mean, that was the right response, so I was a little bit right. But anytime there was something that I wanted to touch that I shouldn't, my dad would say hot, and so I wouldn't touch it. So he had my dad used to have these my dad used to smoke cigarettes, and he would have have a cigarette on the ashtray. When I was little, you had ashtrays, and everyone that smoked had an ashtray, and they would flick the ashes in the ashtray. Yes, I'm dating myself, because you don't even see that like that anymore. But yeah, he had ashtray, and he had it sitting on the center table in the living room. And whenever he felt like smoking, he would have his cigarette and smoke it and flick the ashes in the ashtray. And then when he was done with the cigarette, he would put that, put the fire out on it and put that in the ashtray. And I was over by the table, and I saw the ashtray, and I wanted to pick it up and play with the ashtray. The ashtray had the ashes in it, and it had a cigarette butt in it, in the ashtray. It wasn't lit, so it wasn't hot or anything like that. It's just that if I were to have picked up that ashtray and started playing with it, I would have gotten the ashes all over me or made a mess and spilled the ashes on the floor. So my dad didn't want me to touch the ashtray. And so I'm going over there to the ashtray, and I'm, looking at it, and I'm getting ready to pick it up and touch it or stick my hand in there and touch the cigarette butt and the ashes or whatever. And soon as he saw me, about to touch the ashtray, he says, hot. And and so I wouldn't touch the ashtray because he said ashtray, he said hot. And I understood that whatever you say hot, you supposed to touch your hand. That's, you don't touch. Even though the ashtray wasn't actually hot, I would not touch it, and I would stay clean away from the ashtray because I thought it was something that, no touch. That was on the no touch list, you know. And so anytime it was something that my dad didn't want me to touch, he would just say hi. And I would get afraid of it and snatch my hand back, and that's how I understood hot. And so I would be also afraid of it. So like when my mom, she would go to clean the ashtray, what have you, I see her pick up the ashtray and get ready to take it to clean it out, and I'm like, oh, hot, mommy. I'm like, you shouldn't touch that, mommy. Because it's hot. She look at me like, what is wrong with her? She didn't understand that I had a certain understanding of hot, that hot meant don't touch, not that hot was, that it was, the temperature was hot. I didn't understand that. I just knew hot meant no, don't touch. So when I saw my mom picking up the ashtray, I'm like, oh my God, hot, mommy. No. She's like, I have to clean the ashtray. Like, calm down. But I was still afraid of the ashtray. And then when I got a little bigger, it became my job to clean the ashtrays for my dad, who was a chain smoker. And my mom would tell me, go out there and clean the ashtray. At first, I didn't want to touch the ashtray because I was afraid of the ashtray, because my dad told me it was hot. Now my mom is telling me, go clean the ashtray, pick it up and clean it, and I had to, like, get over my fear of the ashtray. So I say all of that, and so I would clean the ashtray, and I hated ashtrays. I hated smoking. My dad was a chain smoker. He would smoke 2 cigarettes at the same time. Okay, that's how much of a chain smoker he was. One right behind the other. And I, maybe because he, started out telling me that the ashtray was hot, I don't know, but to this day, I won't go near a cigarette. Um, I I'm a non-smoker. I wouldn't even try it. I hated ashtrays because I had to. It was my job to clean them and all that. And my dad, because he smoked so much, I was constantly cleaning the ashtrays. So that I think that might have helped me decide early on I am not going to be a smoker. I'm not going to do that. But anyway, but I say all of that to say that our parents, in teaching us to, stay away from danger and things that will harm us, they teach us how to fear. They teach us, to how to react to certain dangerous or harmful situations out of fear. Okay, and we learn that as a child, and then as we grow older, we keep reinforcing those fears to the point where you wind up like me, where I was afraid of the ashtray simply because my dad would tell me hot when I was younger. And because my mom wanted me to wash the ashtrays, I had to overcome that fear of the ashtray in order to wash it. So today we want to talk about how do you overcome your fears? Well, first of all, you have to be aware of the thing that causes you to fear. Okay, so for example, when I first started appearing on the show, when Miss Griffith first asked me to come on the show because I never did anything like that online before. I never presented online, never spoke online, didn't even have that much experience with YouTube in that kind of way. My experience before coming on the show was, I would pull up, a YouTube video when I wanted to learn how to do something, or learn, about something. I would just, type it in on YouTube. The video would come up, and I would just sit there and watch it and learn. So, the video was already made, it was already done. I could care less in terms of how the video was made or anything. Only thing I know is, if I wanted to learn how to do something, I'll pull up the YouTube video and sit there and watch it. And when the video is over, turn it off and go on with my life. So, and that was the extent to my interaction with YouTube. Here it is now. Miss Griffith is, invited me to come on the show to present. And so I'm not watching a video. I'm actually involved in creating a video. I had no idea of how to do that. And because I didn't have any experience, any idea of how to do it, I thought that I couldn't do it or I wouldn't be able to do it properly. But Miss Griffith kept on, saying, "Oh yeah, you could do it. Yeah, it's easy. It's easy. You can do it." I was because she said it was easy. It wasn't easy for me simply because I was scared. But because she said it was easy and because she told me what to do, I said, let me at least try. So now why I was fearful about coming on the show was because I didn't have any experience in being on the show. I was afraid that, I might get up there and be a failure. I was afraid that, I might do something or say something that would embarrass myself. I'm thinking, smack in the middle of the broadcast, Miss Griffith might say, "Okay, that's it, get off, that's it, boo, get off." She never did that. I would look at her, as I'm speaking, and she's there smiling and like, yeah, okay. She would nod her head. I didn't see the thumbs down sign, The audience, I'm expecting them to, let Miss Griffith know, get her off, we don't need her. Where'd you get her from? I was expecting all of those things to happen, and none of those things happened. And so, that's what made me fearful. Had any one of those things happened, I still would have been fearful, but I would have abruptly, stopped the broadcast or ran or did something, but none of those things happened. But that's what I thought was going to happen. Okay. So when you are in a situation where you start feeling nervous and, anxious and fearful, acknowledge that. Okay. This is how I'm feeling. Okay. I'm scared. I'm scared. Okay. Then, ask yourself, what is it that's making you afraid? Try to zero in on what is it that you're afraid of, because it's one thing to simply be scared. It's another thing to know what you're scared of. Because if you can narrow your fear down to what it is exactly that you're afraid of, maybe you can change that part of the situation, or um, change what it is that's making you fearful. You can change it, or stop it so that you don't have to fear any longer. And in that situation, I was afraid. I'm not afraid of speaking, because I do public speaking all the time, but I was afraid of rejection. I was afraid that, I would get out there and, the audience would be like, no, get her off, thumbs down, boo. I was afraid of rejection. I was afraid of doing something or saying something that would embarrass me and embarrass Miss Griffith. Also I'm afraid, and the show is live, so there's no rehearsal. Whatever you say or do, it's recorded. That's it. Unless Miss Griffith goes back and edits or cuts out certain parts or what have you. But Miss Griffith doesn't do that. She likes to give her audience exactly what, all of it, the straight truth. No, no chaser, no cutting it out, none of that. So what you see is what you're gonna get. Okay, and so she includes all of the happenings and the moments and everything that transpired live, you know. And so me knowing that, I was worried about that. I never did anything recorded live. Uh, like I said, I speak all the time, and I'm alive when I do it, and I'm doing it live, but there's no camera. That was the first time that I did something live on camera, and so I kept thinking about, oh my gosh, am I doing this right? Oh my gosh, it's already being recorded. Is she going to stop the broadcast at any moment because I'm so terrible at what I'm doing? That was what was going on through my mind. So yeah, I was fearing embarrassment. I was fearing rejection. I was fearing that I would disappoint her or disappoint the audience, you know. So those were some of the things that I was fearing in that situation. But what are some of the things that we fear when we're in um, a fearful situation? Let's look at that. Well, some of the things are, I have it listed here. Whenever we are in a situation, fearful situation, 9 times out of the 10, when we find ourselves in a fearful situation, the thing the situation, unless it's you find yourself in danger, like you're in an apartment that's on fire. Okay, you didn't start the fire, the fire somebody else started, but you're in a dangerous situation. you know the fire, it could burn you and kill you. uh, Outside of obviously dangerous situations like that, where yeah, you should fear in those situations, because you need to remove yourself, to remain alive in those situations. But in situations where we think that these that there's danger of some sort, we don't really know. We just think it. Something happens and it makes us think, oh my gosh, this probably will not work out good for me. So let me just get out of here. We perceive danger. We don't see the danger. It's not obvious. We think that there's danger. In those situations, when we fear in those situations, we are the ones that bring the fear to the situation. The situation is happening. Um, the situation does not present fear. It doesn't present danger. Um, it's the situation. Here I am. I was asked to come on the show uh, and present. Where is the danger in that? Think about it. Where was the danger in that? There was no danger. I'm presenting the show, presenting on the show. I'm in the safety of my own home, and I'm presenting. So there was no obvious uh, danger there in presenting on the show. But my mind said, oh, this could be embarrassing. This could be disappointing. You could fail. You could mess it up, mess up the broadcast, and that's what I was fearing. But if you notice, that was what I brought to the situation. I brought that fear to the situation. There was no immediate danger. There was nothing to fear in that situation. But I brought the fear to the situation. So there was no danger. But I thought, okay, I could mess up the broadcast, or I could disappoint the audience, or I could say something that would embarrass me. These are my fears that I brought to the situation. But those were my fears. Those fears, the situation did not have those fears, already in it. And the thing that I feared that would happen did not happen. And that's the reality. So let's look at things that we fear, okay? And these are things that we fear that we carry these fears. We carry these inside of us. And so whenever we're in a situation, that may be uncomfortable or we're not familiar with or what have you, the first thing before even trying out the situation or fully assessing the situation, we come with our preconceived notions and our fears, and we act on our fears, not even what the reality is. We haven't even, I didn't even, check out the situation. Miss Griffith explained to me very, very clearly, what I have to do to be on the show. And she didn't say that, a bomb would explode, or, the audience will start shooting at me or anything. She didn't say any of that, so there was no immediate, danger in coming on the show. The danger that I perceived was my fears about being in a totally new situation that I wasn't familiar with. Those were my fears, and that was my reaction to being in an unfamiliar situation. Okay, so, and we all do that when we fear the unknown. We fear the unknown. Why? Simply because we don't know. We want to come into the situation knowing or having some idea of what's going to happen before it happens. We're much more comfortable with that. But when we're in a situation that, we don't know what's going to happen, we our first response is to uh, you know react to that situation through our fear. Okay, and if there's no immediate fear already present, then we interject fear into the situation so that we will have something to be afraid of. So my thoughts, I placed fear in the situation of coming on the show. Um, and we all do that. So I'm going to just, go over, call out a list of things that we fear, things that um, cause us to fear, and we carry this list. We carry it inside of our heads, and even if there's no, we still carry it, and we bring it and we pull it out, and then we react to it. Okay, so this is the listing. What is it that we are fearful of? We're fearful of, as I said earlier, one of my fears is rejection, failure, um, angering someone else, causing someone else to get mad at you. We fear um, rejection. We fear disappointment, making someone disappointed in us. We fear, I said rejection. We fear getting hurt. We fear injury. Um, we fear hurting someone else, by the words we say or our actions. We fear getting misunderstood. We fear that. So a lot of times we don't even want to say anything or, you know, um, speak out loud in front of people because we are afraid that people may not understand what we're saying and, mistake what we said to mean something else that we didn't mean to say. So yeah, that's another thing. We fear being misunderstood. Um, and then we fear danger, injury, and we fear accidentally hurting somebody else. Like we didn't mean to, but our actions, cause someone else to get hurt, and we don't want to hurt anyone. We just we fear that we might do that. We also fear being out of control. If we're not able to control the situation, we're afraid of it. So, or if we're not able to control ourselves because we don't know how we're going to react, we we won't get involved in that situation because we don't want to embarrass ourselves by being out of control or not being able to control ourselves. So, fear of embarrassment, um, again. And so these are some of the things that we fear when we come into a new situation. Um, First day of school, go into the classroom, you got a new teacher, you're in a new class, Um, you fear rejection. You fear that, you won't be able to make friends. Nobody won't like you, you know. Um, so you're nervous on the first day of school. Um, some of you can remember that. Um, but so you're nervous, you're worried, you're fearful about coming into the classroom. Everyone's looking at you. You fear rejection, you fear disappointment, you fear ridicule. You're afraid that you come in the classroom, everyone looks at you. Your mom, she didn't fix your hair right, or she didn't iron your clothes, and the whole class busts out laughing, or you're afraid that they're gonna bust out laughing because you don't look right. So you fear that you won't fit in. That's another one. So these are the things that we fear, and we carry these fears around in our minds and inside of us everywhere we go. So that when a situation happens that we're unfamiliar with, we never tried it before, an unknown situation, our first response to the situation is to first fear. And we already got a whole list of fears that we can choose from so that we can be afraid. But we don't have to fear. Just because we're in a new situation or unfamiliar situation, fear should not be our first response. Yet, that is our first response. And that's because it's easy. You don't even think about it. It's a reaction. Situation jumps off, and you didn't start the situation. You had no control over the situation. Your first response, your reflex, is to get out of that situation, fear, retreat. But that's our first response, but it doesn't have to be our first response. And so we want to talk about overcoming fear, changing that first response when we go into an unfamiliar situation, or something happens that we were not expecting. We don't have to have fear as our first response. We can, if you take a few seconds and really assess the situation, you will find that you have other responses that you can use and react with. But a lot of times when things jump off, when things happen, we don't take the time out to think. We just react, and like I said earlier, fear is a learned response. You learn how to fear, and then we do it over and over and over again. So then it gets to the point where we don't even have to think about how to fear. We just do it. Okay. And just like we learned how to fear and how to react in fear, we can learn other responses so that fear is not the only reaction or our first reaction. We can do other things and unlearn to fear everything that's unfamiliar to us. Okay, so how do we overcome fear? Let's get into it. Have you had a situation, or are there certain situations that you avoid because you're fearful? every time you're in that situation, you get nervous. You start to sweat. Um, your breathing changes. You get that knot in your stomach. You know, even before the situation happens, when you think the situation is going to happen, or you know, something bad is going to happen, you go through this. You start with me. The voice in my head goes, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God," you know, and when I hear that in my head, I start to brace myself, you know, because I'm thinking something is going to jump off where I'm actually going to have to say, "Oh my God," you know, that kind of thing. So that voice goes off in my head. Get that knot in your stomach, you know, and you're like, "Oh no." So you're scared. You're scared and you're looking around and, you know, trying to brace yourself for whatever is getting ready to jump off. How, you know, and this is before the situation actually, you know, happens. You hear something or somebody's talking about the situation that's going to happen or that may happen, and you, upon hearing that, start going through your fear response. How do you overcome that? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Okay. Well, first of all, upon hearing about something that may happen, uh, you need to stop, and just take a second out and think about it. The person said it may happen. What that means is it could happen, and then again, it doesn't have to happen. It may not happen at all. So you have to just wait to see what happens or if it happens. And upon it happening, then you can decide whether or not it's something that you have to fear. Okay? A lot of times we start fearing and getting our fear response ready, to act upon hearing that it may happen or we think it's going to happen. It didn't even happen or didn't happen yet, but we're already in fear mode. So one of the things that we can do to overcome our fear is wait and assess the situation so that you can determine whether or not you need to fear. So assess the situation, see whether or not you need to fear or not, if that's the appropriate response. Okay. Um, if the situation warrants you to fear, okay, then you fear. But if it doesn't, then you don't have to do that. You have to look for a different response. So become aware of the situation and assess the situation. Take the time out to look around and see where's the danger, is there danger, you know, stuff like that. Okay, that's number one. Number two, let's say, you know, you still are not sure whether or not the situation warrants a fear response, and you already are having an anxiety fit, or you're already scared. Okay, acknowledge that you're afraid. Okay, all right. My hands are sweating. I'm sweating. Okay, I feel that knot in my stomach. Okay, I'm afraid. I am afraid. Okay, okay. Then ask yourself, okay, what are you afraid of? Really? What are you afraid of? So that you'll know. That way, if there's danger, you can know where the danger is coming from, so you will know which way to go to escape the danger, if there's danger. So ask yourself, okay, what am I afraid of? What exactly is causing me to fear? Okay, I'm looking around the room. All right, nobody's threatening me. I'm looking around the room. There's nothing visibly there for me to fear. I'm fearing the situation, the thought of the situation. That's what I'm fearing. Okay. So I'm scared. I'm nervous because I have to speak on this show, and I don't know how the people are going to react. Okay. So the fear is not the show itself. The fear really is, I don't know how the people are going to react to me. Okay. So, all right. So I can narrow it down. I'm not fearing the show. I'm not fearing the room that I'm in. I'm fearing the fact that I don't know how the people are going to react. Okay. All right. I can't control how the people are going to react. Only thing I can do is go ahead and speak. So, is that something that I need to fear? Okay. You can ask yourself that and make the decision. Should I be fearing or should I not? So you assess the situation. You're in a situation, and all of a sudden you feel yourself, having experiencing fear. Acknowledge that. Okay. Then ask yourself, what is it? What is the source of my fear? What is it that's happening, that I think is happening, that's causing me to react in fear? Okay. Then step 3 is decide whether that thing really warrants me to continue to fear. Okay. Step 4, if the answer is yes, yeah, okay. I'm nervous about how the people are gonna react. So yeah, I'm still nervous. So I'm still fearful. Okay. Face the fear. Face it. Don't run from it. Okay. I don't know how the people are going to react. So I'm either going to not appear on the show or and run, or I'm going to appear on the show and see what happens. I decided I'm going to face the fear. I'm going to appear on the show and just see what happens. Okay. Step number 5. As you are facing your fear, you can imagine in your head, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen from me appearing on the show? Okay. The people may not like me. They might react in a negative way to me being on the show. They might tell Miss Griffith, get me off, turn the camera off. That's the worst thing that can happen because I was on the show. Okay. Then after you've you're facing the fear, you're going on the show anyway, and you are imagining what's the worst thing that can happen. Worst thing that can happen is they kick me off the show. That's the worst thing. Okay. Then imagine the best thing that can happen. The the best thing that can happen is I can make it through the show and they like me. Okay. Uh, then breathe. This is while you're in the midst of your panic attack. Okay. Breathe. And continue going forward. And now that you have took a moment to breathe, you realize, okay, I'm doing it. I'm on the show. I'm talking. So far, no one has turned the camera off. No one has kicked me off the show. Okay, keep breathing. Take a deep breath and continue on moving forward. Continue on moving forward, and then every time you take those deep breaths, you're breathing in the thought of the best thing that can happen while being on the show, and you're breathing out the worst thing. So breathing in, they like me, they'll invite me back. Breathing out, they want to kick me off. Breathe in, breathe out. As you're doing it, and you will find that you calm all the way down, and your mind will be clear, and you can continue on doing whatever it is that you're doing in the unfamiliar situation, and you can think clearer. You can move more fluidly, and you'll see that the things that I thought was bad, that I thought bad was going to happen, didn't happen. Oh wow, I think I can do this, and encourage yourself as you're doing it. Encourage yourself. Okay, I'm halfway done. Okay, okay. We finished. I made it through. And after realizing that you made it through the uncomfortable, unfamiliar situation, reward yourself. Reward yourself because you did it. You did it. Even nervous, scared, didn't know what to expect, you did it. You did it. You made it through. So, and learn from that situation, and that way you'll be ready to do it again. And this time it won't be an unfamiliar situation. You've done it before, and so now you can do it again. And that's how you overcome your fears. Okay. So I'd like to go over the actual exercise with you. Okay. But before we do that, um, are there any questions or comments?
Okay, we have comments. Lucy Walker said that the enemy trying to get you in your head.
Yes, that is so true. Because the things that we fear, they start out as thoughts in our head. And so if we can change the thoughts in our head, we can change the way we feel and stop the fear, because it starts out as a thought. Okay. And we can have good thoughts, we can have bad thoughts. It's our choice. You can always change your thoughts, change your mind. So that's true. That's true. Any other comments?
And she said, yes, you can. And Burns Young Closet said, that was so nice. Lucy Walker said, you're always a good speaker. Yes, you are.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. All right.
Lucy Walker said,
Um,
"This love did help me personally." With Vern John, yeah, Vern John Claude said, "Oh my God, this is such a scary time. We don't know who to trust."
yes, yes. And um, you're absolutely right. It's a very scary time, and that's why we're gonna go through the. We're gonna do this exercise so that you can make it through these uncertain, scary times and feel okay. Okay. So I want to go through the exercise right now. All right, and I'm gonna, you know, go through it with you. Okay.
Um,
Um,
let us get through the comments and then we're gonna do the exercise.
oh, okay, okay, okay. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, Deborah Soso said, "Ignore them, you're busy. You're doing a great job. God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and great mind." Second
Yes,
Timothy verses 1 and 7.
I love that scripture. That's one of my personal favorites. Um, and and the reason why I love that scripture so much, and thank you so much. Uh, Shout out to Miss Debbie Soso. Uh, thank you so much for that, because that scripture, that was one of my scriptures that helped me. I go to that scripture whenever I'm fearful, whenever I'm having a anxiety attack, or I think I'm going to flip out. I uh, repeat that scripture over and over in my head. That's one of the scriptures that I use to change my mind when I'm having thoughts of fear. So yes, thank you for sharing that. Uh, okay. Any other comments?
Lucy, yeah, Lucy Walker said, "This pandemic has a lot of people in her building very fearful." Yes, not only in this pandemic, in every other situation, a lot of people have fears. And Vernon John,
Yes.
yes, and
Yes.
Vernon said, right, Lucy Walker, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay,
And
Lucy.
thank you, Lucy Walker, for tuning in, and commenting on the chat. Shout out to you, Miss Lucy Walker. Um, but yeah, it's so true. It's it's a really because what's scary about this situation these days and times is that we're living in a pandemic, and most of us have no experience with pandemics prior to this, so we don't know what to expect. We don't know what to do. We don't have any previous experience, so to draw from, to draw knowledge from and reactions from. So yeah, it's very, very scary because we simply don't know what to expect and how to react. Um, but we've been in this pandemic for a few months now, and God is bringing us through. God is bringing us through. We are now experiencing a second wave. Here in New York, um, uh, the cases are on the uptick again. And so, but we're bracing ourselves because we've been through it before, a few months ago. um, we have some knowledge, we have some resources where we can use to help us through this second wave of the COVID. And so we're a little bit more prepared on the second wave than we were on the first wave. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
Next comment.
Mr. Walker said, "What all of us forget is God will help us overcome our fear if we open up to Him in prayer and thanksgiving."
That's right. That's right. I agree. I agree. Um, and that, you know, those of us who have a relationship with Christ, we can try Him and know that that's true. We that we have God's protection, and that we have God's guidance to help us, so that even when we don't know what to do and which way to turn, we can turn to Christ, and He will direct our path. You know, Scripture declares that only thing we have to do is acknowledge Him. We don't even have to rely on our own understanding, because a lot of times we don't even understand stuff. Okay, so we don't have to rely on our own understanding, but we just turn to Christ, acknowledge Him, and He will direct our path. He will guide us. And when Christ guides us, He always shows us the right way to go. He always knows what the right answer is. He always knows. So we can't go wrong when we turn to Him. But for those of us who don't have a relationship with Christ, you know, we're pretty much fending for ourselves. So we're fearful, because we don't know. We don't have a resource that we can go to and everything. And so what do you do in that situation? Well, call up your friends that do have that connection with Christ. That's one response, and they can help you, you know, get to Christ. But no, I'm joking. But I mean, but that works, okay? But no, the thing is that when you don't have a relationship with God, or some of you have a relationship that you refer to God as your higher power. When you don't have some relationship with your higher power, or whatever you'd like to refer to it as, when you don't have that, you have a tendency to try to deal with it on your own, within yourself. And a lot of times things are, you know, way beyond our understanding, way beyond our control. And so we really can't deal with it. So you have to, you know, give it to the one that can handle it. You know, when things are out of your control, you can't control it. Why? Because it's out of your control. It's beyond your reach. It's beyond you. So the only thing you can do is deal with you, and just acknowledging that situations are beyond you. Things happen that are beyond your control, beyond your understanding. Just acknowledging that is a help. It's a tremendous help. Once you acknowledge that, okay, this is beyond me. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't even know who to turn to. That's why you need to have uh, your higher power in your life. You need to have God in your life because God is beyond you. He's beyond all of us. Okay? He's the creator. He handles everything if we let him. He can handle everything in our lives if we let him. But a lot of times when we try to do everything in ourselves and within ourselves, and that's when we fail. That's when we mess up. That's when we make the situation even worse or bigger than it was before we tried to, control the situation. The situation started out as a little hill, and by the time we got through with it, we turned it into a mountain, a volcano, you know. So you gotta understand and acknowledge that, things happen. And things happen out of our control all the time. If we were in control of everything, then we would think that we shouldn't have to fear, but we still would have to fear because we would have to fear ourselves. Fear whether, we are in control or what have you. But we don't have to fear. We don't have to fear because scripture declares that God didn't give us fear. There was no need for us to even have fear except to fear God. That's the only fear that we needed. That's the only fear that, we should strive to have. Because fear is the opposite of faith. Faith is belief. It's believing in whatever you're doing, or believing in something or someone. Okay? Because we that have a relationship with God, we have faith in God. We believe that God will take care of everything. We don't fear. We don't fear God. We don't, we shouldn't fear. Let's put it that way. We know that God loves us. We do fear God. We fear disappointing God. We fear disobeying God. But He loves us. Even when we disobey, He forgives us and, provides for us and blesses us anyway. To the point where we learn to stop disobeying. Okay? Lovingly learn, actually. But yeah, when you try to control everything or try to do stuff to impact situations that are truly beyond you, yeah, you fail. You're gonna fail every time. Why? Because the situation is beyond you. So yeah, that is a very, very true. And shout out to Miss Lucy Walker. Thank you for tuning in. The next comment.
That's the last comment. And Hataya Francois, hello, hello, yes.
Hi, Sister Itaya. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. I want to go through this exercise to and I want to help us overcome our fears. I'm talking about the fears that we personally have, those fears that we carry around with us in our heads, and whenever a situation that's unfamiliar to us or that we didn't expect, those situations that occur that's really beyond our control, those fears that we go to try to control ourselves, because we can't control the situation because the situation is beyond us. Okay, but we go to these different fears to try to protect ourselves or control ourselves, and fear, it limits your actions, and limits your options. So I want to go through this exercise, and you know, you tell me what you think. Okay. All right. Again, this is an exercise. Um, it you know, I want everyone right now, under the sound of my voice, to just make mental note how they're feeling right now. Right at this moment, just make a mental note. How am I feeling? Okay, I'm calm. I might be bored. Uh, I'm listening to Thais talk. How I'm feeling. I'm calm. For the most part, I'm calm. Might be hungry, whatever, but I'm calm. Okay. Now, I want you to think of a situation or something that makes you fearful. Think of a situation or something that happens that whenever you're in that situation, you are fearful. Okay. For me, uh, um, I'm thinking of let's see. Okay, I got one. All right. Uh, I'm thinking of how I feel. I have a fear of heights. So I'm thinking of, I'm imagining myself uh, going, up to uh, a high place, and you know, I have a fear of heights, so I'm going up to a high place. So one time I was going, I was at an amusement park, and they had this huge water slide. And I was going to go down the water slide. Okay, um, the water slide was very, very high. Okay, and I had to go up the steps to get to the top of the water slide so that I could slide down. Okay, so I'm imagining myself going up, and so imagine yourself. It could be whatever situation, but something that makes you fearful. You 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 get nervous, and you're fearful. Okay, um, a phobia it could be. So all right, now you got that situation in your head. You're thinking about that situation, and you're starting to feel fearful. Okay, now where do you feel the fear? What's happening to you? Think about what's happening to you as you fear, as you are feeling fearful. Okay. For me, I start to sweat. My hands my palms are getting sweaty. I'm starting to sweat. Um, I get shortness of breath. Okay. So I'm breathing short. I get that knot in my stomach. Okay. Think about, you know, when you're feeling fearful, what do you feel? Okay. You thinking about that? Okay. Okay. Now think about, where do you feel the fear? Where in your body, in your mind? Like I said, I feel the knot in my stomach. My hands get sweaty. Uh, I start to sweat. Okay. Think about that. Okay. Now, think about, uh, you know where you're feeling the fear. You know where in your body you feel it. Okay. All right. Now, think about, um, you're thinking about where you're feeling it. Okay. Um, Now think about why, what is making you feel what you feel. So I feel the knot in my stomach, and the reason why I feel the knot in my stomach is, as I'm going up each step and I'm getting higher and higher, um, I realize that I'm getting closer to the top. So that's making me feel nervous and fearful. Uh, so, uh, and I can't look down. If I look down, it's going to make the knot in my stomach get even tighter. So I can't look down. Every time I think I want to look down, and you know, I get really, I get, my fear increases. Okay, so you think about what exactly about that situation is making you fearful. Okay, you got that in your mind? Okay. Now, I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Taking a deep breath. I'll count it out. In a deep breath. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let the breath out slowly. When you let the breath out, when you let certain things go, imagine whatever those thoughts are that's making you fearful, imagine them falling off of you as you breathe out. Do it again, taking a deep breath. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release the breath slowly. Letting those thoughts fall off of you. They're sliding off of you. They slide down from your head, down your shoulders, down your arms, slide right off your fingertips. Okay. Take one more deep breath. Take it in through your nose. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out slowly. Letting go the fear, letting go those fearful thoughts, letting go, letting it go, letting it go. Let your body just droop. Okay, as you let that last breath out. Okay. Now, make mental note of how you feel. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? You can write it in the chat. Okay. But make mental note of how you're feeling. Now, I want you to think about a happy situation. Something that every time you think about it, it makes you laugh or it makes you smile, or a situation that happens, and every time you're in that situation, it makes you smile. Okay? Uh, for me, I imagine my grandson, who's 20 months old now. I like to see him smile, and I like to hear him laugh. Anytime I hear him laugh, it at least makes me smile. Okay? What is your happy situation? Your happy thought? Think about it right now. Thinking about it? You got it in your head? Okay. Now, make mental note. You're feeling happy, but where? Where do you feel the happiness or the joy? Where do you feel it? When I think about my grandson and him laughing, I'm also thinking about how it feels when he gives me a hug. Uh, I feel happy, but where I feel it, when I think about him hugging me and laughing, I feel a warm, fuzzy feeling. I feel it in my chest. I feel can you feel that? A warm, fuzzy feeling in your chest area by your heart, or I feel like smiling, so I can see myself laughing with him, or smiling with him. Okay. All right. You got your happy feeling. You know where you're feeling happy in your body. Okay. Now, go. We're going to take a deep breath. One more deep breath. In through your nose, out through your mouth, and you're going to, as you're breathing in that deep breath, you're going to breathe in that happy, joy feeling. You're going to breathe that in. Breathe it in. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to release the breath. You're going to release again that nervousness, that fear. You're going to let it go. You're going to breathe it out. Okay? Breathe in the happy feeling again. Happy thought. Breathe it in. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out the nervousness, the stress, the icky feeling, the fear. Okay? And relax. Let that stress, let it fall from your fingertips. Can you feel it falling? Can you feel it dripping off of you? Okay. What do you feel? Make mental note. How do you feel? Okay. And then now try to go back to that other thought, that the negative thought, the one that made you fearful. Try to find it. Try to find it. What do you feel? Are you still? Are you fearful? What do you feel? Put it in the chat. Me is, even though I'm trying to think about that fearful situation, I see it in my head, but I don't have that. I don't have that knot in my stomach any longer. I see the fearful situation, but I'm not feeling the fear. Okay, what do you feel? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Did anyone put it in the chat? Miss Griffith,
Yes.
how do you feel? Did you do the exercise with us? How do you feel? What do you feel?
I feel great. You hear me?
Okay.
I feel great.
Did you did you go back and think about the fearful situation after at the end of the exercise? What do you feel? Do you still feel the fear?
I feel great. I don't feel, no, I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot of fear.
Right, right.
Yeah, I really don't have a
Did
lot of
your
fear.
fear
I always try,
increase or decrease or go away?
yeah, I always try to be, less fearful.
Right, right. That's the point of that exercise. It decreased your fear. Okay. It decreased your fear. Some people, it it totally took out the fear. Like
Mhm.
me, I don't feel the fear anymore from thinking about that situation. I still am afraid of heights, okay? But the thought of that situation when that time when I was climbing up that water slide to slide down, uh, just thinking about that situation, I actually can relive the fear. I can feel that fear all over again.
Hmm.
Thinking about the situation. But after doing the exercise, I let go of the fear from the thought of that situation. Okay. And so I don't feel that, I don't have that fear reaction anymore. The fearful thoughts uh, have gone away. So I can think about that situation. I can see myself climbing up those steps. It was like a whole bunch of steps to get to the top. I can see myself thinking about, I can see myself going up the steps, but I'm not scared while I'm thinking about seeing myself going up those steps. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yes, I
the fear reaction from the thought of the situation is not there any longer. So I can think about that situation and not be fearful. Um, I'm not scared to think about that situation again. Okay. Um, and because I let go of the fear connected to that, the thoughts of that situation. Okay. Um, anyone else, if they put it in the chat, and that's why that works, because we attach fear, we attach fear to things and situations, and as soon as we attach fear to it, every time that thing appears or that situation appears, we automatically become fearful
Mhm.
because we put, in our minds, even we connected fear to that situation or to that thing. When we did the exercise and I had you uh, think about the situation and then think of breathe and then think about a different situation that did not cause you fear but caused you joy, you then attach the joy to the fearful situation. You changed the way you thought about that fearful situation. Where you still might be, if you're in the situation, you still might be uncomfortable, but you like you don't experience the fear first. You don't react with fear. You are you have a different reaction. You're calmer. You're able to look at the same fearful situation. You're able to look at it calmly first, and then decide whether you want to react with fear or what other reaction you want to have. Okay, so that's what happened in that exercise. Yeah. When you started feeling the fear, and you thought about where you feel it, and what you feeling, and then you replace those thoughts with a happy thought, uh, that you disconnected your thoughts of fear to that situation, to the fearful situation. Okay, you disconnected the feeling of the fear and the thoughts of the fear to that situation. You changed your mind about that situation by changing your thoughts about that situation. And that's one of the exercises that you can do when you are in a fearful situation. Um, a fearful situation, one that you perceive as fearful, one that you think is fearful. I mean, when there's danger, and you look around and you see that there's danger, yeah, you that you know you're going to react to the danger, and the proper reaction to danger is to fear enough to get yourself out of the way, but you don't have to act out of full fear. You can first assess the situation, to see which way, if you got to run, which way you need to run. So you don't just be running and run further into the dangerous situation. Okay. And once you assess the situation and you see, okay, this is where the danger is coming from, and all of that, you are no longer reacting out of reflex. You're not just doing stuff. You have taken the time out to think about the situation, and you now are choosing a more appropriate response. Okay, so you might still be scared, if you're in a dangerous situation, but you're not just mindlessly trying to get out the way. You actually took the time out to say, okay, I see the fire over there, so I'm going to run, but I'm not going to run in that direction. I'm going to run in this direction over here. So you can make better choices. Okay, so that's the exercise. If there be no more comments or questions, then we can wrap up. But if you tried the exercise with us, I'm interested in seeing, how do you feel? If you didn't try it right now, maybe you'll try it later and see. But that's an exercise where you literally can pull yourself out of a panic situation. Literally. Like right smack in the middle of a panic attack, You know, do those things real quick, and you won't be in a panic state. You'll calm down. You might calm all the way down, but you'll calm down enough where you can think clearly and make different choices and have a different response. Okay, so are there any more questions or comments? If not,
No more questions or comments.
okay, okay. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in today. Shout out to Miss Lucy Walker, Miss Debbie Soso.
John Corbett, Attorney
Yes,
Francois,
right.
Simply Girl Naughty Wife, Deborah,
Yes,
Deborah So, and who else?
yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you all for
Sugar,
your
Sugar Love,
comments.
Chalk
Yes.
Gang.
All right.
Yeah, all those people were here. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for your comments and your questions and your interaction. Thank you to those who are watching and in the background. And um, maybe you didn't hit the chat, but I know that you're there. So thank you to you as well. Um, and thank you to all of you all that are watching and are going to share this video. I pray that uh, you learned something about fear and overcoming your fear. All right. And so share it with your friends. Um, you know, reach out to me if you're having you want to discuss overcoming anxiety and fears further or personally. You can feel free to reach out to me. I'm Thais Love, and I am a uh, mental health coach and chaplain and deacon and certified energy medicine practitioner. Um, I also do cognitive behavioral therapy. So you know, you can reach out to me and we can talk. Um, but also, if you'd like to get on the show, uh, there's room for you right here on the show. And like I shared earlier, um, once I appeared on the show, I didn't have any prior experience or anything. But you know, I was able to come on the show and share and interact with you all, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And you know, once I got over my herky jerkies, my nervousness and everything, I was able to go and make it through. And then I was asked to come back, and now I love it. I'm here every Monday at 10 o'clock a.m., every Sunday at 1 p.m. I'm even there on Fridays at 3 o'clock for our testimonial Fridays. And if you have a testimony that you'd like to share, you can come on the show and do it on Friday. If you have an expertise or you have information that you just want to share, um, some of you all, um, I can tell, are Bible scholars and, you know, would like to share something, scripture or something that you learned and you think would be helpful. Just reach out to myself or Miss Griffith, and you can come on the show and share. You know, we'd be glad to have you. And so if you would like to come on to give your testimony, you want to do it on this Friday or one of the Fridays, you know, let us know. You can put your information right there in the chat right now, and myself or Miss Griffith will see to it that it happens. Okay, you reach out to me. I'm going to get the information to Miss Griffith, and we'll have you on the show. Okay,
Yeah.
but thank you so much for letting me share. I hope that this was helpful to you. And like and share the video. Thank you again for spending part of your Mondays with me. Uh, and if that be all, you have any closing remarks,
Yeah.
Griffin?
Yes. I want to thank everyone in the chat and those in the background, and thanks to you, Deacon Love, for presenting such a awesome and helpful information this morning to those who were fearful. Thank you so much. I want everyone to have a blessed day and
Pleasure.
a blessed week ahead. And whatever you do today, be safe and be less fearful.
Yes. Overcome your
Yes,
fears. You can do it. You
yes.
can do it.
Face it head on, and you can do it. You can get it done.
Can do it.
Okay. Like Love said, if you want to be on the platform or you have any expertise that you want to share, you can contact me at ancccskitchen@gmail.com. My Instagram is Chardonnay, or you can contact Deacon Love at dunamasongmind@gmail.com, and she will give me the information and I will have it ready for you to be able to present on this platform. So thanks to everyone in the chat, thanks to everyone in the audience in the background, and thanks to Deacon Love. Have a great day, everyone. Bye. See you on
Bye
Sunday.
bye. Have a great day. Have a great week.
Friday,
And
yeah.
I hope to hear from
Yeah.
some of you all real soon. I'll be here again on Sunday. Take care. Thanks so much. Bye bye
Yeah.
now.
Bye bye.